We'll get started. I know some people are still coming in late, but we'll get started, and there's some introduction. So I think everybody will still have time, sufficient time to view the student presentations. Okay, I'd like to welcome all currently 105 of you. I know there are more than 260 people signed up, registered. So I'd like to welcome all 106 of you now to our Spring 2020 Incubator Showcase. Thank you all for joining us. This is David Choi. I'm a faculty member and honored to be the director of the Fred Kiesler Center for Entrepreneurship at LMU. All of my entrepreneurship colleagues are also on the Zoom call. And the current Zoom session is being run by, managed, or should I say produced, by a wonderful associate director, Darlene Fukuji. Oh, 113 now, okay, it keeps going up. It is a little bit unfortunate. One second, what happened to my screen here? That we couldn't hold this on our beautiful Playa Vista campus, where I guess we would have shaken hands and hugged and shared foods. And of course, also my favorite collection of beverages. Would have been fun, but like all good entrepreneurs, we'll make the best out of the cards we're dealt, and we'll try to have a fruitful evening tonight. Our agenda is as follows. As usual, we'll provide you an update what the program has been up to over the last school year and what has been happening to some of our student and alumni companies, especially as they navigate through the current challenges. Today, we'll present just 3 student ventures that have gone through the incubation process this semester, but we'll start off with a brief update on a startup newly founded by a student who presented here a year ago as a junior. So we'll be presenting 4 interesting companies. After we're done with the presentations, we're welcome to visit each of the student teams in their Zoom session. So you've already gotten emails with details, the Zoom links for each of the teams. I'll also be showing you the Zoom links at the end of the presentations. I'll also provide my own Zoom link in case you want to join in a virtual happy hour. If anyone would like to do that, you're welcome. Speaking of happy conversations, we have our Dean, Dale Smith, who's been a huge supporter of the entrepreneurship program from day one. She's with us here today and is kind enough to offer some welcome remarks. Dale, are you here somewhere?
I am, David. In fact, on my screen, I'm just below you,
Yeah,
which I think
perfect,
is how the hierarchy works in LMU CBA.
Yeah, good.
Would you like me to go next, or?
Yes. Would you mind
I'll
saying
be
a few
welcome.
words? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for tag teaming with me.
Yeah.
First of all, on behalf of the College of Business Administration and LMU, I join David and all of our CBA colleagues in welcoming you to one of my favorite events of the year. Obviously, I had also hoped we'd be in person, but we are being agile and managing on the fly. But the Incubator Showcase is truly one of my favorite events. As a dean, it's really exciting to see how our business courses and the mentoring by our amazing faculty, alumni, friends of the school, all who help to come together to support our students. And they get a chance to showcase their creative confidence, resulting in some of the coolest startup ideas that have been incubating in our incubator. I feel very blessed to work with this group of faculty and celebrate with the launch of these startups. It's a powerful group of staff, faculty, and friends of the CBA who support these students. The alumni spend a lot of time doing the mentoring, and for any of you out there who would like to be part of that, feel free to volunteer your time and money. faculty and staff who spend countless hours working with the teams, and our donors, who David will talk about a little bit later, who provide grants and ignition funding to help kick these ideas off. If it weren't for this kind of support, we wouldn't be able to fund these bright ideas and help take the ideas that are in the classroom and turn them into businesses that can help shape economies. It has been an incredible spring semester. It's certainly been a test of our entrepreneurial mindset, our skill set, our own experiences as we've pivoted on the fly in this worldwide pandemic. And I truly hope that all of you are staying safe and can ride it out with all of us. Our faculty have risen to the occasion, as have our students, and we've continued to try to motivate and inspire. Now, when you talk about experiential learning, I'm not sure this is what we had in mind, but our students are certainly learning how to see problems and define opportunities. We held our entrepreneurship awards last week. David will talk more about that. But I had the chance personally to hear from so many of our students on Zoom who benefit from our programs, and some of them are presenting tonight. I'm also proud to be the dean of a college and a leader at LMU, given that the spirit of entrepreneurship is alive, it's well, it is thriving. And you'll get a chance to see some of that. For so many people across the planet, COVID times result in feelings of learned helplessness and a feeling oftentimes of being a victim. Yet tonight, what I think you will see is how you pivot, how you use that agility to problem solve and seek opportunities that truly define the entrepreneurship program at LMU and in the CBA, and that characterize our students. So enjoy our program tonight. Be sure to engage these young entrepreneurs with challenging questions, push them on their assumptions, and really get them to talk to you about how they're changing the world. So please do, when they finish the presentations, really engage. Thanks to all of you for supporting our CBA, for coming out tonight to our Zoom room, and know that we really couldn't do it without you. We truly are in it together. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Dale. It was awesome. Just to continue, so it's been an unusual semester where many of our courses ended kind of like this. This image happens to be from a special entrepreneurial mindset training that Professor Glosenberg offered for our students over a weekend. On a positive side, we're still one of the top ranked programs in the country, in part because of our curriculum and also our wonderful students, but also in part because of our co-curricular programs that we offer to enhance our students' entrepreneurial mindset and, of course, their entrepreneurial competency. Our Associate Director, Darlene Fukuji, will present some of the co-curricular offerings we held over the last school year. Darlene?
Thank you, everyone, and good evening. So before our campus closed, we had some great educational opportunities. Our marquee, David, can you switch that?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Our marquee speaker event is the Hilton Distinguished Entrepreneur Lecture Series, and in the fall we had Ali Webb, founder of Drive Bar, come to our campus and was interviewed in a fireside chat format by Professor Rochelle Webb. And the line to get into the auditorium was so long, and it was standing room only. In the spring, our Hilton Distinguished Entrepreneur is Brandon Cohen. Super exciting because he's a product of the program and presented in the Incubator showcase not too long ago. And now it's a hundreds of million-dollar business and has become an established company. And Brandon has become a real source of inspiration and wisdom to many students. And today they're keeping our healthcare heroes hydrated. Perhaps one of my favorite events of the year is our annual Startup Weekend, which kicks off Global Entrepreneurship Week, in which we participate with 9 million people across the world. So students, along with aspiring entrepreneurs from many different countries, come together and build a company in just 54 hours. And this was from this past November. We're fortunate enough to have more than 100 professionals committed to being mentors in our entrepreneurship program. A number of them came out to the Entrepreneurship Society Meet a Mentor Night in February, right before everything shut down. Also, right before everything shut down, we had the annual Dawn and Joyce Norris Idea Pitch Competition. It's a fun event You can't really see it in these pictures, but there was a huge audience and more than a dozen teams pitched and a bunch of students applied, and the winner took home a $1,000 prize. Power is an LMU Entrepreneurship Center movement designed to inspire and support women entrepreneurs. We had fantastic speakers who spoke about mentorship and entrepreneurship. There are so many that were engaged from our community, and we had a male keynote speaker, the Chief Marketing Officer of Facebook, Antonio Lucio, who had a very unique perspective and very profound perspective on the role of diversity. The event's open to the public, and I hope to see more of you there. And Built to Scale was something that was just launched this year, and it's co-hosted with UC Berkeley's Haas School of Business. Professor Rochelle also organized this event and featured a lot of premier entrepreneurs from both universities and brought together really motivated people, inspired to learn. And I hope more of you join for this as well. Perhaps one of the newest highlights of the year is our participation in the Venture Capital and Investment Competition. This is something we entered for the first time, and we were able to beat a number of different schools like Gonzaga, BYU, UC Irvine, Arizona State. And after 3 days, we won the regional competition to earn the ticket to the international competition to compete against schools like UPenn, Dartmouth, Ohio State. But the competition, again, was canceled, well, to you know what. And a big thanks to Professors Hatzendorf, DeMello, and Dr. Choi for spending countless hours coaching our students. As David alluded to in the beginning, our entrepreneurship program is really flourishing because of one of these new things that we took on by Dr. Alex Flossenberg, also known as Dr. G, and it's research and training, something that's called personal initiative training, featured in Science magazine. It's a highly effective 24-hour-long short training method to enhance the entrepreneurial mindset. I took part in that. It was amazing, and Dr. G has also done this in different parts of Africa, and also we just did it with North Korean refugees. We recently have been doing a lot of other things, and I can't go over all of them, but here is a list of some of the other things that we've been doing just this year and are continuing to doing just a little differently. And just wanted to thank the community and everyone. It really takes a village for adapting with us and being resilient with us as we navigate dynamic times. Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene. So we've been a little bit busy. One of the things we love to do is share alumni news. And I shared this news item last winter, but I'd love to do it again. So we had a new addition to Forbes 30 under 30. And I bet we're gonna have more just based on the students we have currently at school. There's no doubt we're gonna have more people joining the Forbes 30 on the list. One story I forgot to mention at the last event is one of our alums and entrepreneurs, Jessica Hawthorne Castro, won a very prestigious award, the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year for Los Angeles in 2019. So another really good, important news, exciting news related to the entrepreneurship program and College of Business. We love family business as well, and PBS had a whole movie basically about one of our alumni. I especially love this story because I have to know every one of the family members. And at LMU, we certainly get to be close to our students. But in some cases, we become friends with all of the family members. Darlene already talked about Liquid IV, and sometimes we talk a little bit too much about Liquid IV, but it's hard not to. They just recently donated 2 million products to healthcare workers in 1,800 hospitals across the country. So, these guys were a project that presented here 8 years ago. A few $100 million of revenue later, they become a real company and are really contributing to our society. So very exciting. And also they got into Target just about a month ago. Dave.com, I mentioned a few times, is a billion-dollar company. It's a unicorn. And so I think a few months ago, our dean, Professor DeMello, and I hopped on a car to visit Jason Wilk at Dave, and of course also the mascot of the company. I also like to feature different alumni companies at different Incubator Showcase events. And Rob Monkman here was a student of ours many years ago. He was making incredible progress with this technology, which keeps hotel workers safe. I'm sure his business is being affected currently by the pandemic, but he sounded pretty positive last week based on the text messages. Just got an email last week about a company called Autonomous. This is a company founded by an LMU entrepreneurship major and an LMU computer science major. Their technology keeps track of when cars park, for how long, and stuff like that. This technology is also interesting because it was initially installed at LMU. And as are so many of our technologies, they often launched first on a campus. And I actually have the suspicion that a couple of my parking tickets on campus came from this technology. That's okay still. Just last week, I got an email that one of our students launched a new product called Superfood Stack. It's a company that, it's a product that boosts immunity. It seems to be a business that it's in tune with the current climate, so very timely. I'm supposed to get a shipment the next day or two. Speaking of current climate, it seems to be pretty good for this tequila company, Nosotros, which we often feature at our events. The company has been able to expand its distribution in recent months to many, many stores, which is, of course, great news. Just a few more companies. Craft Mix is a cocktail mix that presented here a couple of years ago. And the company's sales recently doubled, and it also landed a part of the initial seed financing. There seems to be a little bit of a theme here with the last couple of companies, and maybe the change of behavior amongst us has increased the demand for certain kind of companies. Last December, we had a few companies that presented. I'll just give you a little update on what happened to some of those. The Washington Abstract is a company that intends to bring transparency to the legislative process and make democracy work better. The good news is a couple. So it won the Western Regional competition of the Princeton Tiger competition. The other good news is these guys are very, very serious, and they are graduating in a couple of weeks and will be going at this 100%. They were very fortunate to be the recipients of the Samantha Boyd and Ginn Family Ignition Grant last semester. Another company that got the same grant is called Cognito. These guys redesigned all of the educational app. This is an educational app that's sort of an advanced version of Quizlet. If you're familiar with Quizlet, they're prepared for launch in the summer. Keen is a product. It's a wellness drink based on Chinese herbal medicine. They also presented at the Incubator Showcase in December. They were doing pretty well in local farmers markets, but with the current climate situation, the company's been more focused on online sales recently. Peachy Keen Swim is a swimsuit line focused on body positivity and sustainability. It has been concentrating more on developing online presence and online sales. We wish them the very best going forward. I want to mention something about our faculty. I know sometimes it looks like I do a lot of work because I'm the one presenting, but all that we do and accomplish would not be possible without all of our faculty members. We're very blessed to have dedicated, selfless, capable team of incredible faculty members who devote countless hours to our students. Then we're supported by our entrepreneurs in residence who serve as career and business advisors to many of our students. And we have center fellows. These are faculty members across campus who also support us in many different ways. And then we have an advisory board, a group of high caliber professionals advising our faculty and me. Lastly, I want to thank our incredible donors, without whom we couldn't do any of the things we mentioned, including all the co-curricular programs and competitions. And then, fresh off the press, as of last night, in addition to the generous ignition grants we have from the Ginn family, we received another $100,000 pledge from an anonymous donor to support our incubator teams of the next 3 years. We just learned about this, so we're going to give them out probably in the summer or in the fall and announce the winners. But these are going to make a humongous difference on the kind of projects we can pursue and all the incredible kind of businesses that our students can start. So thank you very much. Just to finish off, even though we're quite busy, we're now about to start a family business program. And if any of you guys are family businesses and like to join our inaugural team of family businesses for our Family Business Network, please feel free to contact me. Lastly, there'll be news going out for a new program we're starting in the fall, a brand new massive science program in entrepreneurship. So that's all the news. Sorry, it took a little long. And now we're going to get started with our Incubator showcase and our student presentations. The purpose of the showcase is to provide an opportunity for our students to show off their work, show off what they've been working on. The other objective is to foster and build a tight community of entrepreneurs and their supporters, and that's you. I see now a list of 139 participants. Thank you all for joining. And it really takes a village to build a company, to create a company, and to train an entrepreneur. So thank you all for your support. So today, it's going to be hard for you to ask questions verbally. So please send your questions and comments via the chat function. The chat function you'll see on the bottom of your Zoom screen. Please ask questions, and we'll try to address a couple of the questions. Can't address them all because of the sake of time. But remember, you can go to the student Zoom sessions and talk to them directly there as well. All right, student presentations. Like I mentioned before, we had a very unusual semester. Most of the students you'll find, in most cases, we have secondary MBAs and seniors presenting at this event. Most of our students are going to be underclassmen. Okay? But we're going to start with Adam Rodriguez, who a year ago presented an educational software business. Having learned how to start a business, he launched several more. By the way, I know he's also keeping a high GPA because I'm checking on his transcript, but on grades. But today he'll be giving us an update on his newest business, which he started just a few months ago. But he's already put together a great team and landed 6-figure contracts with Fortune 500 companies. So, Adam, are you here somewhere?
Yep, right here.
Okay, good. All right. I like the background. Okay. And can you guys share your screen?
Yep.
Do I need to stop sharing my screen? Is that what happens?
You need to stop sharing, please.
Okay. Just did.
see. Cool. Everyone can see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Dr. Choi. And we'll kind of, jump right into it. So, unfortunately, I can only present one of my companies tonight, but this is one I'm really excited for. And our goal, given that we're graduating, I'm here with Gabe, actually, one of my co-founders in the project. And Gabe's an LMU senior as well. And our goal was to generate cash and see how we can, take a class with Dr. Choi and apply theory during the beginning of the semester towards a business that, we want to kind of take into graduation and, help sustain ourselves so we don't have to get a real job. So we've been working on this company for quite a while, and we've gotten really honest feedback. And a shout out to Andrew Fielding. Early in December, we kind of gave him kind of a prelim of what we were doing, and he helped steer us in the right direction. So we're going to kind of just jump into it. We'll be presenting PRISM XR. So typically, what's weird? Okay, here we go. So, most people understand what virtual reality is. It's when we're immersed in an entire world. But, a lot of people don't understand what the difference is between that and augmented reality. And so augmented reality, and these are some of the things we create. Augmented reality is where we deploy digital assets into physical environments. And if you'll see on the left, we have a picture of what that kind of looks like through your smartphone. Consuming augmented reality and other types of tech within this space requires hardware for the most part. So you can deploy this within headsets, you can deploy this within phones, or any other specialized technology like projection mapping. And so, the industries that it's being used in, it's very, very wide. And it kind of depends on what industry that will determine how you utilize augmented reality. And so governments are kind of using this for training and interactive wayfinding, where, you're pointing your phone up in the air and you're kind of navigating through the city. And Google's working on some tech like this. In retail tech, food and beverage and entertainment, they're using it more so for marketing purposes to increase the amount of interactions people have with your brand, maybe trying out a product in virtual reality or augmented reality or whatever it might be. And so, kind of jumping right into it.
So we're PRISM XR, and we kind of hold ourselves on a mission that we create mixed reality experiences for cities and corporations, which are now worldwide. Our solutions, so we deploy our tech into 4 different verticals. First, we can plug our activations into almost any native app on the market. Second, we can optimize
Dr. Choi, you're muted.
No, thank you. So I don't know what happened there. Are you guys back on?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay,
did we
so
cut out?
you guys were on the screen. We talked about the company, and then we all got
okay.
yeah. So let's start over with that screen where you talk about the products, different products you have.
Cool.
Go back here.
So I knew this could happen. This is a prime time for bandwidth.
Okay, this is
There we
streaming
go.
left on? Okay.
Yeah, after that, yeah, the slide after that. Okay.
Okay, so to run us back through the solutions we offer, first, so we deploy kind of our activations as of now into 4 different verticals. The first being we can plug our activations into almost any native app on the market. Second, we optimize our tech to work within any existing or new website creation. And then third, we can deploy experiences on social media, the main 2 being Instagram and Snapchat, using their Lens and Spark AR creation studios. And then fourth is a new kind of way of deployment we've been working on. They're AR projectors. We've been using these to manipulate physical spaces in the world and pretty much use AR projection mapping to make some pretty awesome activations. So to move on to our team, we put together this team in the past 3 or 4 months. These guys are awesome. They're some of the top creators in the world. So first we'll jump into Clay. Clay is an awesome dude. He's an extremely talented AR creator and developer. He's a verified Lens and Spark AR Studio developer, and he has 8 years in mixed reality development. As you can see on the left, these are some of the companies he has created activations for, including Google, Apple, Nike, Netflix, and Airbnb. And some skills we wanted to highlight with him are his 3D animation skills and his AI and spatial computing skills.
Quick fun fact about Clay, he also has over 1.2 billion impressions worldwide with his activations, which is staggering. And kind of jumping into Clara.
Yeah, so Clara, she is one of our top creatives. She's actually based in London. She's also a verified Lens, Spark, and AR studio creator. And some of the projects she's worked on include Gucci, Vans, and Galantis. And her verified skills include 3D and AR art, and modeling, texturing, and illustration. She's also been internationally published all over PR and media with some of the awesome activations she's done. So here are some examples of Clara and her work and the impressions these type of activations can lead to. So here's a face filter she did for Charlie's Angels movie. As you can see in the orange box, it got 2 million views, almost 1.8 million plays, and about 40,000 shares. And on the right, she did something for SNL, which got 750,000 views, 370,000 plays, and 33,000 shares. So you can kind of see the level of impression and interaction these type of filters get. Bringing it back to us a little bit, we're the backbone of the company. Adam and I are the founders, and we focus on business development and partnerships mainly. And then we have Antonio and Daniel, and they're our back-end development team, and they have skills in all varieties of coding and such, but they focus on infrastructure optimization and cloud development.
Cool.
And then our advisors, we have Mark Randall and Steve Labella, both former VPs at Snapchat. And they've really helped us along our way with hardware, marketing, and brand identity, especially with the new product we're working on. Steve's been a big help with that. And then, of course, our beloved David Choi, Director of Entrepreneurship here, has been a nonstop help to us. So
awesome. Kind of giving you guys a glimpse of the projects we're working on now and things we have going on in the coming months. So working with one of the top virtual reality entertainment companies in the world to create an augmented reality experience to supplement some of their physical installations in over 48 cities across the United States. And so this is going to be an amazing thing to showcase once all these COVID things are kind of lifted. The next one we're working on right now is really great for the time, and it's really fitting. It's with a client, Mary Ruth Organics, and they're a nutritional supplement company that helps boost immunity. Given the time, they're kind of killing it right now. And so what we're doing is creating an augmented reality experience that will be deployed within their mobile app as well as their website to create a storytelling experience where you can place a bottle into a digital environment from your phone. And then that bottle now animates and tells a unique storytelling experience about the product that helps differentiate them from their competitors. Lastly, we have one of the larger activations we're working on with the city of Hollywood, the Hollywood Walk of Fame rather. And this is one of the largest projects we have to date. And we're literally creating an immersive playground to showcase some of our abilities within digital and physical environments. So we're using LED screens, projection mapping, and actual phones to create this really great and engaging playground. Quickly running you through what we have going on in the future. We're under NDA with a lot of the larger activations we're working on, but we're working with a major entertainment company to bring augmented reality experiences to some theme parks and some of their films that they have coming in the near future. We're also working with a major sports competition to showcase physical interactive experiences with people's cell phones for tourists around cities to engage them with the environments and different art installations around town. And lastly, we're working with a major festival producer to bring augmented reality again to a physical environment to increase the interactions and photogenic opportunities with some of their art installations. And there's a really large correlation between things being Instagrammable and the amount of tourism it leads to those physical environments. So this is kind of an example really quickly about a client that came to us with a video game that they don't have an in-house virtual reality studio. So they came to us and we completely revamped graphics for virtual reality deployment for a video game. And you can kind of see a snapshot of the before and after of their concept and what we left them with. And yeah, so sales to date. So we kind of rebranded the company and changed our direction. Again, shout out to Andrew. And we've landed over 3 clients so far and over $100,000 in revenue. So we're really, really excited for what's to come next. And if anyone has Snapchat, feel free to scan any of those 3 icons down below. That'll kind of give you a glimpse of, kind of the things we can create. These are more creative filters for personal reference. But yeah, my favorite one is the jellyfish in the middle. So moving right on. Yeah, and that's kind of, a little glimpse into our company. From our activations, we've learned a lot about, what we develop and how we develop things. And so we're developing a digital platform to help increase the velocity of deployment that we've called Saturn. So if anyone has any experience in marketing, XR, or software, please feel free to join us in our breakout room shortly after the presentation. Thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Gabe, thanks for joining the presentation. I forgot that you're also presenting, so thank you. I'm just looking to see if there are any questions on chat. There aren't that many questions. And I think, for anybody over, let's say, 40 years of age, they probably didn't get what you're talking about.
Hey, join us in the room. We'll explain it further. Happy to show examples as well.
Yeah. All I got was like revenue, big companies, big opportunities. So, and I think you guys are pretty modest about your revenues. I know you guys are on the verge of several huge contracts, yeah. But it's still overall very exciting. And I think if there aren't any questions, we'll move on to our real incubator presentations for the semester. But to everybody else, what I'm really excited about is, in Adam's case, the outcome of a class or program like this is not only what happens to a particular project. Of course, we've had projects that become very significant companies. But what's interesting is what happens to students' projects like year after, or what projects they work on next and the one after. Keeps usually getting better and better. Because I think at the end of the day, what we're really incubating is not just the businesses, actually. What we're really incubating is talent of our students. And Adam, I don't know about Gabe, but I know Adam is too young to buy an alcoholic beverage. Right?
Hey, I do see a question about a distillery, though, Dr. Choi. Do you mind if I kind of jump on that?
Well, what is it?
I see a couple questions in chat.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. Okay.
So Charlie, yes, it is definitely possible to create virtual tours. And this is actually something in high demand, especially given that everyone's home. Virtual tours are a big thing. And so, yes, totally possible, totally capable of doing that. We're happy to, either drop your email down below or join us in the breakout room. We can kind of explore more on what you have in mind. And Leanne, Gabe and I have been running around town trying to make our name for ourselves in the space. And we've been fortunate to find, I guess, people with pockets of, I guess, connections in a variety of different industries. And fortunately, the space kind of innovates collectively. So once you find one person, they kind of refer you to other clients. And so that's kind of how we've jumped around, using personal connections and literally just bootstrapping it and running around town and kind of, figuring out who's using AR and VR and, where we can apply it to next. So.
Well, I connected you guys to one VR company. I didn't know you guys were actually going to work together. So that also worked out.
That was perfect. Yeah, that worked out perfectly. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. So let's move on to our first official presentation, TatYou. I think the TatYou team is around. Just about a 30-second worth of introduction. So I mentioned that this is an unusual semester. that most presenters are usually secondary MBAs and seniors. You guys are all, this team is all freshmen, but as you'll see, these guys are talented, mature, never shy, and I'm willing to put in the hours. So TatYou, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, good. Let's get started.
All right. Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great day, and welcome to our presentation on TatYou, the platform that connects customers to tattoo artists.
My name is Avi Aurora. I'm a freshman entrepreneurship major.
My name is Cole Lowy. I'm a freshman marketing major.
And my name is Arjun Gua, and I'm a freshman Ames major. Meet Bella. Bella is a creative and adventurous woman who recently married the love of her life. She and her partner are excited about their relationship and want to get matching tattoos. However, Bella has a problem. She's never actually gotten a tattoo before, and even though she's been searching for weeks, she still doesn't feel like she's found her inspiration. But this isn't just Bella's problem. The tattoo process is hard work. First, you have to actually figure out what kind of tattoo you want, and then it can take anywhere from days to even weeks to find the right tattoo artist. And sometimes people still end up getting a bad experience. We simplify the tattoo process by matching you with the right tattoo artist, easing communication, and having booking and payment all in the same place.
But unfortunately, tattoo artists aren't exempt from their own set of problems. Because of a crowded and growing industry, getting recognized is hard, and client acquisition can be expensive and take a really long time. Finally, maintaining a consistent flow of customers is difficult and exhausting, which can lead to tattoo artists not being able to solely focus on their work. So for artists, we simplify the process as well. We bring clients directly to the artist and make the matching, communication, booking, and payment processes easier and faster so the artist can focus on their work and increase revenue. When a customer first arrives on our site, they can either get inspired or find an artist. If they choose to get inspired, they can browse the latest in tattoo trends and search by tag, location, style, and more. And if they choose to find an artist, they're directed to our personalized matching survey, which asks them questions about things such as style of tattoo, color, size, and more. Next, they're directed to a results page, which is customized by their survey answers in order to best match them with clients who fit their needs. Now, they can freely browse through artists and select the one or few that they like the most. Here, they can message the artist, book, and pay all in one easy place. And from the artist view, they're first prompted to sign up with their name, location, and more general information. Next, they fill out a survey very similar to what the customer fills out in order for both sides to be matched accurately for the best overall experience. Now, they're officially a part of the TatYou family and are eligible to receive live requests and accept or deny them in order to start booking and begin their work. But as we all know, COVID-19 has changed the course of life and business for many people. Many tattoo shops have closed down and suspended business. However, even within these times, TatYou will provide ease and efficiency to customers navigating their tattoo journey from home, as well as preparing artists for bookings when they resume business. Right now is a time where TatYou is needed the most. We as a company are working to build an infrastructure for artists to prepare for business and to build their brand remotely.
Looking at the tattoo industry, it houses about 54,000 artists, totaling a revenue of $1.7 billion. With a growth rate of 6.1%, this US industry shows no signs of slowing down. And we've found that this is largely in part due to the growing acceptance of tattoos in the workplace. Companies such as Cisco and Apple, for example, have been leading the charge for enabling workers and employees to express themselves. Cisco says, "So, you have colorful hair? Don't care. Tattoos? Show off your ink." This is just one example of the many companies that are now allowing tattoos to be accepted in the workplace.
And with a growing acceptance comes an increasing market opportunity. Our first of our two major streams of revenue is a commission model. We take a 15% service charge on the initial booking deposit for any transaction performed on our site between artists and clients. And because of the high number of tattoos performed each year, and nearly 70% of people getting more than one in a constantly growing industry, we have a market opportunity of $82 million per year and growing. Second, we complete the tattoo experience for customers by providing tattoo aftercare to provide care for their tattoos and have it stand out for years to come. With an average revenue of $12 on aftercare products, the aftercare industry is at a booming $1.4 billion and growing with the increased interest in the tattoo industry.
Looking at our competition, we have two indirect competitors and our main direct competitor, TatYou, a European-based company. What sets us apart from our main competitor is that we enable the customer to search for artists by both style and location all at the same time. They can also see artist reviews and discover new designs that are searchable by tags. Looking more in depth at TatYou, a problem we have found is that they charge artists, and these artists can be hesitant paying a lot of money to outside sources. This is why we are confident in our two-part business model. We have potential for revenue, and we do not take money from artists, which will increase their willingness to use our service. Our strengths is also what sets our potential above TatYou. While they may have credibility, their actual service is lacking crucial aspects that matter: a personalized, efficient way to find artists through every step of the tattoo process. And TatYou has proven the need for this service with over 500,000 visitors per month overseas. But after 8 years, they haven't been able to tap into the US market. This positions TatYou to become the leader of the $1.7 billion tattoo industry. And in order to tap into this untapped market, we wanted to ensure TatYou would be the best platform for both sides, customer and artist. We first started by creating organic growth from college students in the LA area. We received their feedback and improved our idea. We then took this to tattoo artists and received their feedback and improved it even further. Now we're ready to grow our platform to the rest of California. And when reaching out to these artists, we received an overwhelming amount of support for our service. Chris from the Bay Area excitedly said, "This is such a great idea. To focus on styles is exactly what needs more attention. I'm definitely down to be a part of your site." And Relic mentioned our direct competitor. He says, "I know of TatYou, but I don't love their search engine." And on the customer side, we received very optimistic responses for our service. 8 in 10 respondents said that they were at least interested in getting a tattoo. And of those, 98% would find having guidance through the tattoo process useful. Lastly, 70% said that they would use a website that has everything all in one place. So being prominent on a platform where the majority of your users will be is crucial. And this is why our strategy for promoting TatYou is to utilize this service. We've already been able to grow an organic following of 380 followers in just 4 months. And we plan to grow this to 5,000 followers by the end of the year. Other than Instagram, we plan to attend tattoo exhibitions to further promote our idea.
So what have we done till now? In November of 2019, we came up with the Idea Startup Weekend, where we got 3rd place. Since then, we've collected multiple customer emails and signed up a variety of different artists. We have also recently hired developers and begun website development. Now, I know you guys want to know about our upcoming targets. So let's talk about that for a little bit. By the beginning of May, we expect to have created multiple marketing funnels for artists and customers, as well as have the beta website completed. And finally, in late July, we hope to have the website go live. Diving right into our financials, our first year financial projections show we expect to have around 150 artists on our website and around 200,000 visitors, bringing in approximately $83,000 of revenue. After factoring in our first year expenses, we net a loss of about $55,000. However, as our 5-year projections, we look to break even in about 2.5 years. In year 5, we project to have about 380,000 bookings, totaling a revenue of about $6.5 million and an operating profit of $3.4 million.
And in order for us to keep up with our growing demand, we split our financing into 2 initial rounds. For our Friends, Family, and LMU Grants Run, we'll be raising $50,000 to go towards increasing marketing efforts and keeping up with technology needs. And then to grow further into other markets outside of California, we'll be seeking a $500,000 angel investment. This will be split primarily for marketing and technology. For marketing, we aim to delegate the funds to customer acquisition in order to bring a consistent flow of bookings to artists, as well as target more customers across the country. On the technology side, we plan to use the funds to push more updates and maintain a high overall customer experience. And for the future, we plan to grow the experience we provide. This includes partnering with a trending temporary tattoo company, Inkbox, to provide customers with samples of a tattoo they plan to get through our website, as well as a future partnership with a tattoo AR company, InkHunter. TatYou is bringing the tattoo experience into the modern era. By increasing personalization and simplifying the entire process, we will transform the way people get tatted. Thank you, and we are now ready to answer any questions you may have.
All right, great. Let's see if there are any questions coming in out of our 150 members in the audience. There might be some people with a question or two.
Yeah, there are questions coming in under the Q&A.
Yep. Oh, yes. Sorry. There you go.
So Norman, I can answer your question real quick about how many tattoo artists we have signed up. And so far, we have approximately 25 signed up just by organically going, talking to them, talking about our idea. And they've been really excited. And right now, we're currently in the middle of development. So we haven't officially loaded them onto our site, but we have agreed to have them on our site as soon as it's live and bring them customers.
Do you see the question from John?
Oh, here we go. From John.
Oh, there are actually a whole bunch of questions. So
Says, why do you think? Do you see it?
Yeah, we see it. So why do you think you don't have a meaningful competition in the US? Amazing if this is a really wide open market opportunity. So the reason we believe that is we've done extensive market research into our competitors, and so far we haven't found any companies within the US that do the same thing. We do have an indirect competitor that we know little about in Chicago that's popped up. We haven't actually seen any real information about them yet. Other than that, our main direct competitor in this case would be TatYou, but as we said in our presentation, they're in Europe and we're here.
okay. All right, I think we can end there for the sake of time. Well, actually, okay. There was one last question here. Can you repeat how you make money? That's a good question usually, right? So maybe one of you guys can address that question and finish off.
Sure. So when you go to get a tattoo, generally you place a booking deposit in order to secure your spot for an appointment. We plan to do that through our website. You can book and pay all through our website for that appointment and pick the date from the tattoo artist. In this, we take a 15% charge from the actual booking deposit, and that's our primary source of revenue. And then additionally, we have our second source, which is the e-commerce brand, which is to provide aftercare after they've gotten the tattoo and to ensure repeat customers. I hope that answers your question. And to any others, please feel free to come to our breakout room, and we're more than happy to answer any other questions you may have afterwards.
Okay, great job, TatYou. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to Bobabase. Bobabase, like TatYou, came out of our startup weekend. It was a really productive startup weekend event we had last fall. This team consists of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. I'd say the average being sophomores. And I don't know if anybody or everybody knows about boba, but if you like boba drinks, you'll certainly like Bobabase. So Bobabase team, are you guys ready? Okay.
Ready whenever you are, Dr. Choi.
Sure, get started.
Yeah. Ryan, Sean?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hi there, my name is Sean Holmes, and I'm a freshman entrepreneurship major.
I'm RJ. I'm a sophomore Ames major.
I'm Ryan. I'm a junior entrepreneurship major.
And today, we will be presenting our company, Bobabase. Boba in a minute, whenever you want it. Right now, boba is one of the largest growing trends in the beverage world. Considering the hundreds of boba cafes that exist within the United States, there's a good chance you've either seen boba around or even tried it yourself. These drinks come in a wide variety of flavors, including milk teas, coffees, fruit teas, you name it. The popularity of boba right now is at an all-time high, and it is only projected to grow. Despite how delicious boba drinks are, there is one major problem associated with them. Whenever you want a boba drink, you have to drive all the way to a cafe, wait in a long line, and pay a decent price. There is no easy solution that doesn't involve excess time, money, and energy. Now, that's where our company, Bobabase, comes in. Bobabase offers consumers a simple way to get immediate boba at home. Our product line features serving-size packages of tea powder and serving-size packages of boba balls that can be made into a drink in under 1 minute. Customers can either purchase these packages separately or even purchase our bundle pack of both. With Bobabase, there's no need to rely on an overpriced cafe for your boba. You can get your own boba immediately, right when the craving hits. Aside from being the only instant boba product on the market, what's unique about Bobabase is that it gives consumers the freedom to add boba balls into whatever drink they want: coffee, tea, alcoholic beverages, whatever their heart desires. Furthermore, it only takes under a minute to prepare, so consumers save themselves lots of time rather than having to drive all the way to a cafe for boba. One reason we're very excited about our products is that the boba market is growing rapidly. In 2019, the global market was worth $2.4 billion. As you can see, is not stopping there. By 2025, the market is projected to hit $11 billion. The United States encompasses a good fraction of this market, accounting for $653 million per year. Our plan is to initially sell just to the booming market here in the United States, but as you can see, there is plenty of room for overseas growth in the future.
The current layout of the boba industry looks like this, with wholesale suppliers and restaurants on both ends of the supply chain. We aim to sit in the manufacturing and distribution sectors to fill the current gap. This will allow consumers to easily buy the delicious boba they want in the grocery store or online and make it at their convenience in the comfort of their own home. We wanted to see how viable our prototype was, so we did our best to give samples to professionals and students in the area. Stephen Hargett is the Senior Director of Facilities and Operations at the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, and he's been itching to use our boba to add to the snack area of his office ever since he tried it. Our initial market we want to reach is college students, so here are a few people from around the area who have tried and liked the boba that we make. Amy gave a testimonial saying that the process was extremely easy and the drink at the end was soft, chewy, and sweet, better than most boba shops, especially in Santa Barbara where good boba stores are few and far between. We plan to promote our product in a few different ways. Of course, we want to have a social media presence. Currently, we are working on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. We want to implement a referral program allowing customers to have an incentive to share the product with their friends. We're looking to strategically position ourselves inside of grocery stores to increase awareness and land some impulse purchases. And finally, we want to have some product giveaways for different events. And real quick, here's an example of how to make your boba at home through one of our promotional videos. Let me just check if, yeah, you guys can hear this. So as you can see, the process only involves a few quick steps. The coffee maker is how I prefer to make my tea, since it only takes one button to work, but it's not required. It tastes just as amazing stirring the powder into hot water. You're also not limited to using milk tea. There are tons of cocktails, juices, coffees, and more that taste great with our boba added. We're looking to sell to both businesses and directly to consumers. This will allow people at home to make their store quality boba without leaving their couch. Companies will be able to resell our product at a great margin or provide it for employees in the office. We plan to place ourselves in co-working spaces to allow for the people inside to enjoy our boba as an add-on to their coffee maker setup. Amazon and other online marketplaces currently lack a quick boba solution. Our product would give consumers a new way to easily make their delicious boba without leaving the house. Restaurants and bars are always looking for a way to add new items to the menu. Our product is perfect for that application since we are an easy, high-margin product. I demoed at General Admission, a sports bar in Studio City, and the owners were in love with the sweet, chewy boba and the ease at which I was able to make the drinks for them. Of course, we want to place ourselves in grocery stores to allow people to buy our product off the shelves. We want to begin in Trader Joe's because they've been known to be very accepting of testing new products on their shelves, and they don't charge a slotting fee. Considering everything going on right now, many restaurants are struggling. People are stuck at home, much like me here, on their second season of rewatching Breaking Bad, and just because they already finished Tiger King and they don't know what to do with themselves. The difference between me and everyone else is they're bobaless and I am not. Our model can allow for contactless pickup through online orders or retail, giving people the ability to still drink the boba they love with no risk.
We plan to sell our product for $3 a drink to co-working spaces, corporate offices, and on our website for consumers to purchase. Furthermore, we plan to sell at $2 a drink to retail stores and restaurants and bars as they'll purchase our product in bulk. By the end of our first year, we plan to have Bobabase in 15 co-working locations, 15 corporate offices, 20 restaurants and bars, and 10 retail store locations. In our 12-month financial projections, we plan to become profitable by month 4 and profit $56,000 in year 1. 58,000, sorry. Looking forward to the future, we plan to have Bobabase in 70 co-working spaces, 70 corporate offices, 250 restaurants and bars, and 100 retail stores. We also plan to achieve 60,000 web sales in year 5 alone. In our 5-year financial projections, we plan to have over $2.2 million in profit while selling over $8.3 million in product. We are asking for $150,000 from investor funding, and we plan to use these funds primarily on purchasing ingredients for orders, as well as for marketing efforts, product development, and logistics.
So moving forward, we are looking to further develop our product and bring it to scale. It tastes great right now, but there's always ways to make it better. And so we're working on some freeze drying solutions, and we're working on possibly canning or drying the boba just to see how that works. We're looking to maintain contact with potential customers like General Admission, and with partners like Crop Sticks. Mylan's in this call. Hi, Mylan. And she sells these sustainable bamboo straws, which are great for the environment, and she makes a boba size. And then we're looking to create new contacts through conventions like the Western Food Expo, which was unfortunately canceled this year due to coronavirus. On top of that, we're looking to start a Kickstarter campaign to raise awareness and then also raise a little bit of money. And we're looking to grow our social media. And speaking of social media, you can follow us at any of these links. And finally, here's the team that puts it all together. I come from a sales background. Wes is our lead in engineering. Sean and Claudia work on social media and marketing for me. And Alex and Ryan handle financials and operations. You have no idea how much these people support me, and I can't express my gratitude enough to them.
To wrap things up, once again, we are Bobabase, your new boba place. Thank you so much for listening, and we're now ready to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, great. I think there were a couple of questions that just came in.
Let me see.
The questions are both on chat and Q&A.
Oh, okay.
One second, I'm still filtering through the TatYou questions.
Yeah, no, it's on the bottom. A whole bunch on the bottom. Yeah.
So how are the servings created and packaged? Currently, right now, we have a vacuum sealer, and I pre-cook the boba and pack them safely, and then freeze them.
We ordered a freeze dryer, right?
Yeah, so we're going to test them, that solution, and see how it works.
Yeah.
Andrew asked, how do you compare with the home boba kits currently sold? So home boba kits that are currently sold require you to put the boba on a stove, and it takes 30 minutes to an hour and a bunch of dishes to completely cook the boba, and it's really, really easy to mess up. I tried this with my girlfriend, and I got so fed up with it, I decided to try to make a company. And I think a lot of people would look for an easier solution.
Okay.
And
how about this one?
What's the biggest obstacle you encounter?
Sure.
Just trying to figure out how to, well, we have our MVP and it works, but we're trying to improve it. And the tapioca balls are touchy, and you need to make sure the texture is just right. So making the product itself was the hardest thing.
Okay, good.
I haven't had the shelf life professionally tested, but I've made some 6 months or more before, and I still have them, and they still taste great.
Yeah, well, we gotta test it more formally, but
yeah,
yeah,
it hasn't been long enough to really know yet.
Right. Okay, good. Let's just end with this one question. Somebody asked, isn't getting boba a social experience? So, it would be boring to have boba just at home. How do you answer that question?
So most of the times when I drink boba, it's going out to a restaurant and bringing it back home. This would save me the time in traffic, in lines, and then I don't have to pay really high prices. I compare it a lot to coffee. Coffee is a social experience too, and people go out and get their cups of coffee, but people also buy Keurigs and make coffee at home all the time.
Okay, good. All right, for the sake of time, let's end there. Thank you very, very much, Bobabase.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the next team. Last team, last but not least, is waerHealth. waerHealth is probably the most sophisticated team. They should be. They are big, old, mature juniors, right? I think most people in the session would be impressed to see what college juniors can do in terms of what they can display in terms of technical and business savviness, right? So we're looking forward to the presentation, waerHealth. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Okay, good. Go ahead, guys.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name's Jack Halloran, and this is my business partner, Patrick Ennis.
Hi, everyone.
There he is. So tonight we're going to talk about our company, waerHealth. What we're doing is creating data-driven solutions for improving mental health. So the problem we're addressing is very simple. People get stressed, and that causes many problems in our society. When we look at the US, we see that on an annual basis, 109 million people end up visiting the doctor for some sort of stress-related ailment. These ailments are things that many of us would write off as regular discomforts, such as digestive issues, struggling to focus, or insomnia. But as stress extenuates over longer periods of time, we see the development of more severe conditions, such as hypertension, or even being more prone to heart attacks and strokes.
So Jack and I got involved with this our freshman year when we went out for the rugby team. Pretty soon after games started, we both ended up with severe concussions. So we spent that year stuck inside our dorms recovering. But by the end of the year, Jack got better and I still had constant headaches. This continued into sophomore year. And at this point, I was trying everything I could get my hands on to manage the headaches. Then I got Aspire. A wearable notified me when my breathing was tense. I realized that my stress was causing these headaches. But it wasn't until I started writing down and recording my behaviors that I could use this data in a meaningful way. This process showed me that it was possible to track stress using existing wearables on the market. But this data was very limited and didn't have context. So people still had to track their own behaviors over time to make sense of this data. This pushed me to see if we could find a better solution. In doing so, I identified 2 research groups that had created great solutions for understanding stress with existing wearables, only requiring heartbeat data to identify not only stress, but also positive emotion. From there, I found a stress algorithm that had 72% baseline accuracy. It was designed to be improved with user feedback using machine learning. This open source algorithm was developed by a research organization of 11 universities over a 9-year period with the goal of tackling mental health through wearable data. Additionally, I found a way to detect positive emotion. It was a tool designed to help people reduce stress in the moment by recognizing positive emotions. Validated with over 25 years of research and 300 peer-reviewed studies, it had shown that by identifying and reinforcing positive emotions, people could significantly improve mental health outcomes. From this, we saw an opportunity to use these algorithms to create a consumer product for existing wearables. So, to better understand the scope of this opportunity, we identified the largest wearable platforms that enabled us to access the required data for our product to work. In doing so, we identified 46 million wearable owners on the Samsung, Garmin, Fitbit, and Polar platforms, none of which had an existing solution for tracking psychological stress. Once we identified this opportunity, we looked to see if other people were looking for a stress tracking solution as well. We found a consumer survey of 826 people that indicated that 50% of existing wearable owners or people looking to get wearables wanted to use it for stress tracking.
So from here, we set out with a goal to build a solution off of these 3 principles. So first, we wanted to find a way to help people reduce stress in the moment, while also providing insight into what was actually causing that stress. And using all of this data that we could get from a wearable device, we wanted to actually show people, okay, what works for reducing stress under these circumstances. So diving into this, for reducing stress in the moment, we're actually able to continuously track stress and identify when someone's experiencing stress. From here, we can reach out to them and use this positive emotion tracking technology to visualize their emotional state and guide them to a more positive place. This technology has been proven to help people reduce stress in the moment. And in those 300 peer-reviewed studies, it actually demonstrated that it could reduce anxiety, fatigue, and depression, while in turn improving calmness, sleep, and focus. So the next piece was when they could engage with these, they could actually contextualize what was going on, adding key information about how they were feeling and what was going on in that moment, allowing us to then use that information to create a stress event. With this data, we can show the users what happened during their day, incorporating activities such as sleep, workouts, and stressful periods during that day. They can then look back on these events and add information about what was going on during that time, tagging important things like if they were interacting with someone or were nervous about making a deadline. To help in this process, we can also access their calendar and see if there's any overlapping events to provide additional context. With all this data, we can begin to provide insight into their mental health through the week, as well as what common themes emerge from their stress events, such as if they regularly experience stress when interacting with a coworker or struggle with managing stress when dealing with financials. With these insights, users can begin incorporating new habits into their daily life to see what makes them feel better. These habits can be as simple as taking a cold shower or going to bed earlier. At the same time, this can be used to track more serious things, such as the effects of taking new medications or trying new therapies. By collecting all this data, we can provide insight into how these changes actually impact their well-being over time. So we took this solution and we conducted a survey on 187 wearable owners. And what we found was that 91% of them were highly interested in our solution, 74% wanted to try it, and 36% were willing to purchase at our monthly price point of $4.99. From there, we conducted a series of small focus groups with 15 people so far. We did this to better understand how we could improve our product, and we're currently in the process of setting up more of these focus groups to further refine our solution. So with this solution, we see an opportunity to apply it to therapy markets, first targeting talk therapy and then incorporating app-based therapies as well. So our therapy solution is to give users therapists access to their data. It's incredibly simple. From there, they can use this data to work through issues that may have come up during the week, even incorporating feedback mechanisms for that patient to record when they use a recommended tool. This also allows them to find out how effective the current methods that therapist may be prescribing are for reducing that patient's stress or improving their overall mental health. So the existing therapies that exist right now, they're actually driven by data. There's only one, and it's from a company called Feel. So they're a startup currently in their beta stage, and what they've done is they've created a wearable device to measure different emotional states. They pair this information with their in-house cognitive behavioral therapist to provide data-driven therapy. Where we differentiate ourselves from them is by providing value to existing patients and therapists, while they focus on people who don't have a therapist and who would have to switch to one of their in-house therapists. The next application we intend to pursue is data-driven therapies exclusively delivered through an app. Therapies such as cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness have been very successful, as seen in apps such as Calm and Headspace. Our concept is to take these therapies and strategically deliver them based on a user's data. To scale this, we intend to execute this strategy by creating a marketplace. Our goal isn't to become a therapy company. Instead, we plan to specialize in data. To implement these therapies, we intend to utilize partnerships with subject matter experts. We're already in the discussion with USC's graduate psychology department about working on the solution with them. Once we identify the key data points to drive these therapies, we intend to build a web platform for therapists and researchers to build and distribute these therapies on our platform, allowing us to conduct research on how those therapies actually work and how effective they are for helping different people. So the existing solutions in this space, there's really just one company, and they're a startup out of Europe. What they do is they provide a B2B solution for providing cognitive behavioral therapy driven by a user's data. They additionally have their own device and can't integrate with existing wearables. We differentiate by focusing on one, existing wearables, but also all sorts of different therapies and allowing different researchers to come on and produce their own things. So how we intend to monetize this, we really have two main channels. So first off, there's the consumer-facing aspect, which is the monthly subscription fee of $4.99. The other piece are those app-based therapies. So by allowing people to come on and build therapies, we're actually trying to create a marketplace in which we can take 25% of those transactions in addition to what Apple and Google may take, depend on the app. So how we intend to bring this solution from a concept to a reality is through two main phases: pre-development and development and marketing. So our pre-development phase is focused on gaining traction. The therapy market, our goal is to line up over 1,000 trials, over 1,000 therapy patients that we can initially work with. The next goal is to build a social media following with over 1,000 people in order to aid in our initial marketing efforts. Once we achieve these goals, we intend to move into development. As of right now, we've secured a capital commitment of up to $500,000, which we intend to use to develop our initial product and bring it to market. To develop this solution, we intend to use OutSystems, a low-code environment used by Intel, the Department of Defense, Cisco, and many other reputable firms. The reason for using OutSystems is that it enables us to quickly develop solutions and scale the infrastructure very easily. It costs around $50,000 a year, depending on your use, initially starting lower. At our current stage, we have received a proposal from a contract developer called Do It Lean, who's capable of building our solution in 9 to 12 weeks. This will cost us around $200,000, depending on how much functionality we include in the product. So for marketing, we have 3 main methods. So first, we're targeting digital therapy organizations who could benefit from using our data in their practice. Second, we intend to target companies and individuals with access to insurance-covered wearables. And finally, we intend to use paid media channels. So diving into this, for therapy targets, we have 5 main targets, 4 of which are digital therapy providers, which have around 3.5 million patients between them. Additionally, we've had interest from USC's occupational therapy department, as well as 2 other small practices. So for insurance coverage, this actually greatly reduces the overall cost of our product. As such, we've identified 2 means of getting insurance-covered wearables. First is UnitedHealth, an insurance provider that provides reimbursements for wearable purchases. They cover around 6.2 million patients in the US, and additionally, they work with many therapy providers we intend to target. Another opportunity is that many organizations offer wearable subsidies, such as USC, which offers a $250 wearable subsidy through WageWorks. So moving on to paid media, how we intend to use paid media is in 3 main ways. For our initial launch, we'll be launching on Polar and Samsung wearables. We intend to use the available marketing tools within their ecosystems to reach their users more effectively. Additionally, we plan to use a combination of social media and specific Google search ads focused around Polar and Samsung wearable searches related to stress. For this, we're allocating $25,000, which will be spent over 4 to 5 months, getting us to the end of 2020. So looking at projections, it's broken down by 2 of our main markets. So first, the initial platforms we're launching on are Samsung and Garmin, or Samsung and Polar, equating to around 17 million potential users. We intend to reach them using paid and organic ads. Based off our research, we think a $3 customer acquisition cost is a reasonable assumption, given that we get to advertise directly to these existing users. Based off our ad spend, this equates to 8,000 users by the end of 2020. Our other market is therapy providers, which we intend to reach through pitching these organizations and then promoting to their patients. So far, we have interest from USC's occupational therapy department and 2 other small practices. If we can build a relationship with at least one of the big 4 therapy providers, we think it's a reasonable assumption that we'll be able to achieve over 20,000 therapy users by the end of 2020. How this translates into financial assumptions is based on that 28,000 users and producing a margin of $3.74 after the tax that is associated with being an app. This equates to $104,000 of monthly revenue. So the next steps for us are to hit our pre-development goals, which we hope to hit by the end of May. From there, we'll take on our financing and move into development, testing and validating various pieces around the algorithms themselves, additionally, how we can implement solutions for therapy. And finally, once we go through that, we'll look into building those data-driven therapies on our app, and most likely look for a Series A or a seed round to build those applications. So thank you so much for listening, and now we're going to open up for Q&A. This is weird not having people talk. Is there a way I can see the questions?
All right, that was a lot of content. You guys changed a lot the last few days. Let's see if there are any questions.
Okay. So where does this sit within the regulatory environment? So if you're referring to HIPAA, wearable data is not subject to HIPAA compliance. That was one of the first things we checked after you told us that before. What's your go-to-market to sell this in the talk therapy market? So as far as going to the talk therapy, what we've been doing is basically picking up the phone and calling these therapy organizations, getting it connected to whoever we have to, and then pitching them until we could get at least one sale that equates to 1,000 therapy patients. And we're just building and building. So far we have 2 landed. We actually have a call tomorrow with one organization. How
about one more? How about, let's say, what is your go-to-market strategy to sell to talk therapy marketplace?
I just mentioned that. That's basically
that's what
classic inside sales. We pick up the phone, we call these organizations, we find who we need to get connected to, and then we pitch whoever we have to.
Okay. For the sake of doing it, how about just one more? These are all one guy asking all these questions. Is there somebody else?
It's like last is it correct?
How about the anonymous attendee?
All right. So our product can function without any data input. That's one of the key pieces. So by recognizing when they're stressed and by recognizing when they're experiencing positive emotion, we can just pull the periods during the day. It's up to them how much context they want to add to those events, but Irrelevant will be able to provide them insight on how physical activity and sleep are affecting their overall stress levels. So the product can have base functionality without interaction, and it just gets enhanced by the more they use it. And then the beta will initially just be a report. So for therapists, this would be something where they could have their patients, if they have a wearable, and we could spit out a report on these are the periods during the week you were stressed, and here's how your physical behaviors affect that.
All right. Where's my video? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, and you guys are finished. Okay. All right. So let me say that we're done with our presentations. So this concludes our Spring 2020 Incubator presentations. I'd like to mention or reiterate that, mention that TatYou and Bobabase were able to make progress in part because of the Ignition grants received. And for example, TatYou was able to pay for part of the software development, and Bobabase was able to purchase or order a freeze drying machine. We're excited to finally get it when it arrives. There's a long delay. Turns out a lot of people want that machine for their homes these days. So as promised, these are the different breakout rooms. All of you registered would have gotten an email with the links, but just in case you can't find them, they are not too difficult to actually type them because they all start the same, HTTPS, and then there's lmula.zoom.us, all of them are the same. There's a -J, all of them the same except for my link, which is at the bottom. So you're welcome to join any of these breakout rooms and ask questions. You may congratulate them on the end of the semester, or in some cases, discuss investment. Let me also conclude by thanking each of you and every one of you for your interest, for taking part in the webinar, making it exciting and educational for all our students. Also, thank you for the brilliant questions that you asked. Again, I'd like to thank our Dean, Dale Smith, our faculty members, Roberta Kuhlman of Universal Relations, who's also on the call. Of course, friends and parents of the presenters who joined. As always, our supportive alumni, and of course, the members of the broader business community. Dale, I see you back on. Would you like to say a word or two?
Oh, I was just going to comment, David, that I'll join you in the Zoom room. So if there's any in your
Okay.
Zoom room, so if there's
Okay.
anybody who wants to talk to faculty, probably will distribute, and I'll hang out with David in his room for a bit. But I just want to thank, we're still hitting 92 participants for this. What a fantastic turnout, what fantastic support to our program. I want to thank all of our entrepreneurship faculty, and especially David and Darlene for the work in putting this together. And students, you absolutely blew so many of us away. We're so excited. And again, thanks to the donors who help us fund these students so that they are able to get their ideas out in the marketplace. We really couldn't do it without you. And we hope next year to see you at the fall showcase, and hopefully it will be back on campus. We may be sitting far apart from each other, but we will hope to be back in a space where we can observe all that social distance.
Yep. I have to say this was a little challenging without all the reactions I can see. But also let me especially thank Darlene Fukuji, who's been the glue that put everything together. So let me see if there are any chats that have been sent, or any important things I should notice. I see a bunch of chats, but maybe it's okay. Okay, I see some thank you and congratulations. Okay, great. All right. If there are any questions, complaints, whatever, I'm in my Zoom session, so everybody please join. We'll have a quick virtual happy hour. Okay. Thank you, and see you all next time or at the Zoom session. Thank you.